I just got back from shipping the package for the Parable because I want to get taken care of before I left on my trip tomorrow. Before I tell this story, I'm getting myself a drink. Okay. Ugh. Let me tell you. Right. Okay. I'm gonna pick yellow because I'm just so shocked at the price. It was wild. So many cool things just happened, guys. And I'm picking passion fruit because I feel very passionate. Y'all, world peace is not cheap. Spreading hope and belief requires extraordinary effort, and extraordinary effort requires playing with money, right? I always talk about monopoly money. I call it monopoly money just because I recognize how absurd it's gotten, right? Can everyone perceive how crazy and wild prices have gotten? I have some of my diaries from the academy that I was reading, and I was complaining about how something cost $20, and I was like, oh, that would never cost $20 these days. I think it was, I don't remember what it was, like to fill up my tank of gas, and I was like, it was $24. Okay, so everyone saw the package that I made Addie, because again, all the meaning and purpose behind it, right? I want to inspire him. I want to show him that another human being values his life. He is important. He is extraordinary. What he is trying to do, chasing his dreams, he is worth investing in. Okay. Went and bought him all those things. I showed the video. Then I went to go ship it. And I was aware, because when he sent me the address of where it was going, I was like, bro, I have no idea what any of these letters or words mean. There's like no zip code. I have no idea how this works. I had to Google it, and I had to ask AI, being like, hey, can you help me how to write this? Because I just don't know how it's supposed to be structured if I'm sending this to Nigeria. I picked the UPS store because I love UPS. UPS does an extraordinary job. And they're close by to my house, so I went there. Okay. This is why I don't have kids, because things come up that are extraordinary. Ugh, I put all this effort into, right? Addie's my friend. He is my friend. I want to show him that I support him for him being my friend. Which means, you know, sending care packages aren't cheap. I have one of my friends, she was in one of my good friends actually, right before I went to the hospital, my hospitalization, she came over to my house because my ex-fiance Keegan had called her being like, hey, can you come over to Sharon's house? So it was like my commander, my first shirt, whatever. Not my first shirt, someone was at my house. She showed up to my house, my friend, just to provide a sense of solace and comfort. But she never visited me in the hospital, so that was kind of a bummer. But she told me it's because her commander directed her, saying you cannot visit her in the hospital. Her commander commanded her to not visit me in the hospital because they said it was dangerous, so it was like unsafe for her to go. Okay. And so when she told me this story later, because it was like months had passed, and she was going on a deployment. And I'd watched her dog a couple times, and she'd help me out too, right? We're best friends. One of my greatest friends. Went to the CrossFit games with us. Like, this girl supports people above and beyond like how I supported Addie, right? Where do you think I learned how to support others with extraordinary effort? From her. But then when I was at my time when I needed support during that moment, I asked her, I said, like, why didn't you come visit me in the hospital? And I recognized she was going through a really hard period in her personal life. She doesn't share very much. She's very tough and wants to be like strong, right? But I recognized she was hurting, right? She's getting deployed, she's having to move, all these moving parts in her personal life and her professional life, trying to do so many things. And then me as her good friend come at her and say, why didn't you visit me in the hospital? That's not the kind of friend or support that I should have shown her, but I showed her that because I was hurt at that time and I was trying to articulate myself. Anyway, she ends up getting deployed. And I asked her, I messaged her, be like, hey, because I realized I hurt her feelings from how I acted, calling her out on the actions and words. And also I attacked her work too. And I said, how well do you think your work leadership is performing? Or how well do you think those leaders are doing if they commanded you to not help another human being? Like when I found out I matched to be a kidney donor for my dad, I was informed that I have to let the military know. And I said, okay. So I let my team, my medical team be aware, being like, hey, I matched to donate a kidney to my father. I'm unsure of when the timeline's going to happen, but it's going to happen in like the next year or so, by the end of this year. And they said, oh, that's great. That's awesome news. Hey, you just need to sign these forms. I said, oh, what are these forms? And the form was saying that I was forfeiting rights I was voluntarily putting myself in a detrimental health position. And because of that, whatever occurs because of my decision will not be covered. The military is not on the hook to help support me in the future. It cannot go towards my disability rating, XYZ. You cannot use this in the future when you require aid or support related to this decision. And by signing that paper, I was agreeing, saying, yes, I give up my rights to receive support and help from the military medical system due to me donating a kidney to another human being. Okay. What kind of look do you think that is, Air Force medicine and military medicine? I didn't sign that form. I went up to my commander and I told him, I said, I received this form from medical. Do you realize what this is trying to state and say? I said, how dare anyone ever tell me who I cannot help? It is my own father's life. You have no control on what I choose to do with my body and how I'm going to help another human being live. And how dare you insult me and give me this form to sign? Okay, don't disrespect me like that again. And so I said, I'm not signing this form. And I let my boss know, to my commander, and I said, by the way, when my dad requires support and he has no one, he lives out in the middle of nowhere by himself, he's divorced, he has no one. If he asks me to come help him and take care of him, right, because I'm giving him my kidney already, I said, I will go when he requires. I will be leaving and I will be taking care of my father and I will be having them cut out an organ from my body and putting it in him. If you all have any trouble with that, you know where to find me because this is where I will be. Do you have any questions? And I was like, if you want to support me, if the military wants to call me AWOL or do whatever, if I don't have enough leave during that time, then so be it, because I'm still going to go help my father. No one on this planet is going to tell me who I can and cannot help, especially when I've just donated an organ to another human being. So, anyways, this is what I mean about how things are insane and ridiculous. But my friend was hurt. My friend was hurt because she thought I was attacking her. And so when she was deployed, I reached out to her saying, hey, what's your address? I want to send you something. And she had been ignoring me. She started to try to distance herself from me, and I was aware of why, because I hurt her feelings. And I wanted to let her become aware that I still care about her deeply. And so she never gave me, she's like, hey, I have to check my post office address because I don't know what it is. Guys, when you're in a deployed location, every single human being that's on a deployed location has their P.O. box written down. People love receiving care packages when they're on deployed locations, especially from people that they cherish and consider they care about, okay? I was aware that she was hurting because she was upset by what I said to her and calling her out in her actions. So I said, I am going to be there for her, right? Love knows no boundaries. So I'm smart. So I got one of our mutual friends. I said, hey, I'm trying to surprise her with a care package. Can you give me her address? So I got it, duh. And I sent her, and I made dry fruits because I know she's trying to be healthy. So I bought all these like fresh, like fruit, like apples and oranges. No, not apples, bananas, And I think I bought one like pears or something, and I dehydrated them all. I made a mix of different dehydrated fruits. I have a dehydrator. I made them and I packaged them all. And I have, because I bought like a plastic container thing so I can package my dried fruits and seal it, like a little sealer. And then I'd place a sticker, because I bought a pack of stickers, so I just put a random sticker on the front. So it's fun. I made her those, got her a bunch of like healthy candy because she was again trying to be healthy. So I got her like the zero sugar substitute, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Sent her this package, sent her all the things, and wrote a card saying, you know, apologizing for not being the friend that she has always demonstrated, shown up for me. And she was still hurt by that, and she actually never reached out to me about receiving the package. So I had no idea if she got it or not because I didn't track it. I just threw away the receipt. And she never ended up acknowledging it. And so finally one time, a while later, I saw on her Instagram story, she posted something, and I was like, hey, did you get I sent you something a while ago, I'm not unsure if you got it. Or if you don't check your mail regularly, then you don't recognize when to like go check it. And so I was like, hey, I just sent you something a while ago, I'm unsure if you got it. I'm unfamiliar if you were aware to like how often you check your mail. And she responded back by saying that she received it, and then like, thank you, or something like that. And I was just like, oh, guys, I keep getting hit like bummer after bummer. People just hold on to their misunderstanding and their sense of grudge and vengeance so strongly. The victim mentality is hard to leave. Very hard to leave. It's very challenging. Because when you have a victim mentality, it's a shield. It's basically a shield from feeling embarrassment or shame because something bad was done to you. Therefore, you can play this card or perspective and gain sympathy from others. People in my life lately have been doing that. Okay. Because again, it's very challenging to leave a victim mindset. Very challenging. It's fearful. It's very scary to be exposed like that. But it is possible. Anyways, I'll go back to this. Okay, so I went to the UPS store. And actually, I was going to make another video. Sorry, sideco, because I just saw what the time is. I was going to make another video documenting this and talking about different labels and utilizing the terms and from the DSM that medicine utilizes when they invoke a label of schizophrenia or bipolar on another human being. And I want to demonstrate and I want to show because I've had a lot of people reach out to me that have these diagnoses. And I want them to recognize that there's nothing wrong with them because they have been told their entire lives or once they receive that label that they're shameful, they're embarrassing, they're different in a detrimental way. Like no one wants them. And so these people that have those labels associated with them, when they reach out to me, I make them recognize how extraordinary they are and that whatever they dream and desire is still possible. However, they might have a different way of nuancing or navigating it. So I need to make a video on that because people, again, millions of people are struggling all over with labels they receive because humans in general still act in their victim mentality. We like to have scapegoats. We like to have a sense of fear and vengeance and hierarchy because it makes us feel like we have worth and value when someone else is beneath us or below us or we're above, right? Everyone loves stratifications because it gives them a live demonstration or example of how well they are doing. However, when that is invoked, right, certain labels like these people, I can't tell you how many people I've reached out to that have given the label of schizophrenic or have reached out to me and shared beautiful things with me. And I comment because, again, I can perceive past nuances and layers. Just because someone's in that can perceive more beyond the surface layer, like these people can, that with these labels, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. But people are afraid to talk to them, but I'm not, because they're extraordinary human beings. Ugh. And so I encourage them. I said, please share with me. Like, I love hearing your stories. Share them with me because I love hearing them. I've had people like share their personal diaries with me. And it seems like gibberish, right? It seems like all sorts of things written all over. But if you look at it, you can see the patterns, right? The words that they're utilizing represent different movement patterns. that they are able to perceive, and they're trying to utilize however they can define or articulate themselves to explain what they're perceiving. Just because they select, unique words doesn't mean that what they have to say isn't valuable or they aren't valuable. Ugh. Oh, like for instance, one person, I wish I could find it. There was a comment and she was propagating misunderstanding and violence. Because I guess within her family, her father was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And she blamed that. She said, this is a dangerous thing. Like, people like this they're harmful. They should be locked up. They cause so much damage. Like, they need to be like medicated and isolated or things like that. She talked about her own father like that. Her own father, because she didn't understand what occurred. And I ended up talking more with her, or continue on the conversation to try to invoke a state of being like, no, your father and you are extraordinary, and here's why. And it got to a certain point where she said, well, at one point, my father locked me and my sibling into a car, and my mom was screaming at him, and it was getting entangled, and he just couldn't talk. And he just grabbed us and locked us in the car, and they were fighting outside. A huge verbal altercation. And it was scary for us. We were kids. And I said, yes, that is scary. I said, but your father who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, a label, right? In his mind, people with schizophrenia, I tell this to people all the time, they're able to perceive a huge threshold, a huge layer of movement patterns. Their capacity for cognition is extraordinary. They can perceive very extravagant depth. And when they be able to imagine perceiving the totality of existence at one moment in any given time when you open your eyes, when you perceive the world. People that are diagnosed with schizophrenia that say they hear voices and like that, honestly, I'm jealous of people that can hear voices. I've never been able to hear voices, and it sounds like such a cool thing. Right? You're like an antenna, you're a radio station. And so many movement patterns and things that you can perceive that you literally have the capacity to hear other voices and stuff, other thoughts. You can hear movement patterns. That's cool. That is cool. Okay. So, I haven't even gotten to this yet. I guess I'm on a whimsy tangent. People with those diagnoses, right? So this person that got locked, her and her sibling got locked in the car by their father, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and him and the mom were battling out and arguing out front, like yelling and screaming and saying, you're harming the kids, this and that. But from that man's mindset, for how much his mind could grasp, he perceives movement patterns before they have been defined or confined to labels and human thought. He sees a potentially violent and chaotic environment outside of the car, right? Because he can perceive movement patterns. And in his mind, he thought the safest place to pick these people that I love and cherish, these human beings that I helped create, the safest place that I can put them right now is in this car. While me and my ex-wife are yelling and she's upset with me. So I want to keep them safe away from this. So what did that father do? He locked those two kids in the car while they were fighting outside with the mother. And the mom was yelling all sorts of things because, again, medicine had given him the label of schizophrenia. So the only thing that he could think of or able to demonstrate to try to shield his kids was to put them in a car where it was quieter and safer, right? How many scary movies has anyone ever watched where the parent tries to protect the kids and locks them somewhere? If you look at, in history, World War II, the kinder train, adults literally put their children on trains to go out away from, escaping Nazi Germany. Okay? How is that any different? Her father tried to keep them safe from something that he perceived was about to potentially become violent. So he wanted to make sure they weren't involved. How can I keep them safe? Because things are escalating very quickly, because the person that I created you guys with, my ex-wife, she's irate and she's upset. She doesn't understand how much I care and love everyone and my kids, and how much I care and love her, right? This is how it occurs. Anyway, so this child though, she went her whole life, and I'm unsure what happened to her. Something happened to the sibling. I think they were diagnosed with schizophrenia as well, and something happened to the dad that was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Their lives have turned very catastrophic, and they've become kind of, I guess, a shame and burden for the family. And I tried to explain to her, I said, hey, your father, he has an extraordinary capacity to perceive things. And in that moment, he made the decision to try to protect you guys and take you away from a potentially chaotic environment. He made the calculation and put you guys in a place that he deemed was safe. Because the father didn't get in the car. The father didn't drive away. The father literally locked them in the car, and then the verbal altercation and the physical, I think the mom might have tried to be like physically do something, and the father held her back from getting to the kids. And I think the police were called and this and that, right? If the father, right, a man is very strong and powerful. If a man was capable of wanting to cause harm to others, he would have done it. He got him in the car already. Do you think he could not overpower a woman that was in a state of hysteria and panic? He could have done it, but he didn't do that. He purposely locked them in the car, and he stayed outside the car and was reasoning or trying to mitigate it from spilling over. However, the child didn't perceive it that way. And I guarantee you, after the police arrived and took the father away, that the mother told him, this is why your father's dangerous, schizophrenia, blah, blah, blah. He tried to harm you guys. He tried to kill you guys. Do you see how that could invoke a state of chaos and misunderstanding in a child? And it clearly did, because this human that I was engaging with on social media was propagating that cycle of misunderstanding by stating that people that are labeled as schizophrenic or bipolar deserve to be locked up, they need to be isolated, they need to be removed from society. Okay. This is what I mean by labels are dangerous. If I couldn't, thankfully someone understands how to utilize words and the capacity of what's actually occurring with those diagnoses. Like I said, every human is extraordinary. And if you get stuck in the perception of labels, then you never get to hear and discern about how extraordinary those human beings are. For instance, when I went to the Halloween party, I was unaware that, I met new people, but I was talking to someone, and this teenager, this young man, came up to me. He was dressed up, whatever, came up to me, had like little googly eyes on his hand, and I had a drink in my hand. He came up and just like, and he like stuck his hand and was like being like, in my cup that I was drinking out of. And I was like, what just happened? Right? It's not often that I have a full-grown human being come up to me, and I'm drinking a cup and it doesn't have a lid on it, and this person sticks their hand in it and starts pretending like their hand is drinking water. And the person sitting next to me, coincidentally, actually, I didn't realize, I realized it later, but that person that did that man that came up to me and did that in my cup, was actually a special needs child for the woman that he was dating. It was her son. He was autistic. That's what his label was given. But I didn't realize that at the time. I just thought someone was like, he had the googly eyes on his hand. So clearly it's Halloween. He's in character. This is part of his costume. What is he doing? Why is he taking a drink? So I talked to him. I said, oh man, what are you thirsty? What are you looking to drink or something like that? And we had a great conversation. And the kid spoke to me through his hand, through his little puppet. And then I said, well, do you want more? Are you thirsty? Clearly you're thirsty. And he was like, and he came back and he stuck his hand back in my cup. And at this point, the father or the person that was dating the son, he tried to apologize, like, hey, stop that, blah, blah, blah. Like, tried to prevent him from expressing himself. And I was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, who do you have there? Like, what's your costume? What's his name? And he was starting to open up and talk to me. And I said, oh, well, because I didn't realize this. I was like, well, your friend must be brave because this has alcohol in it. So he must be real thirsty. And then the kid was kind of like, oh shit, like, I drank alcohol. And that's when he got a little nervous and he stopped talking a little bit and he went away. But again, at this point too, the mom came out and said, leave them alone, go away, like, go over there. Like, quit bothering people. Y'all, he wasn't bothering me at all. And they apologized for his behavior. And I said, no, there's nothing to apologize for. He's extraordinary. And I was actually disappointed that his parents treated their own creation like that, treated another human being like that. Ugh. This is how dangerous labels and misunderstandings propagate. This is why the world looks like it does. Because people keep playing on the surface layer, keep being embarrassed, keep being ashamed of things, keep thinking that they're going to be misunderstood because of other things that other people have labeled them as. I didn't see someone that was autistic. I saw an extraordinary human being that was expressing themselves artistically. Like, how cool is that? He was talking to me, and later on, before I left, I actually tried to talk to him again, because after that, he never came up to me again. And I saw him sitting there, because later on, the parents were like, oh yeah, he's autistic. That thing he had on his hand was just something he picked up and wanted, blah, blah, blah. How they talked about him. It makes me so sad. How they talked about their own child. And they couldn't perceive how extraordinary he was, and they apologized for him because they thought that he was embarrassing. Sure, is it normal for someone to come up to me and stick their hand in my cup multiple times that I'm drinking? And I drink after it too. I'm like, no, it's fine. I was like, this is good stuff. I would drink it too. And I took a sip. And then he was like, and he stuck his hand back in there. And I said, yeah, it's good. And that's when I told him about the alcohol. And he was just like, oh. But before I left, I tried to ask him, like, hey, like, where did your friend go? And he was on his iPad at that point. He was given his iPad. And then he, like, stopped his iPad and he looked like this. He went like this. I said, where did his eyes go? Where did your friend go? He went like this to me. And then he just was like, eh. And then he went back and he stopped talking to me. And he went back to his, watching his iPad. Because I guess, I don't know who, right? For some reason, this human being wanted to speak and articulate themselves through a hand puppet. He even had little googly eyes on it. But when I asked him where he went with his little googly eyes, because by the time I was leaving, the googly eyes were gone. And it was off his hand and he was playing on an iPad. He was watching his iPad. And when I asked him where his friend went, where his costume, his little puppet, where he was able to articulate himself, he literally raised his hand up, went like this, and put it back down and watched his iPad. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Because he got embarrassed and ashamed enough to stop being himself. And I loved it so much that he was getting to be comfortable to express himself. And he forsook it because of how people labeled him and perceived him. Such a bummer. Y'all, this is a bummer. This is what's called a bummer. Anyways. Oh, there's still some left. How much did it cost me to send the scammer a package to Africa, to Nigeria? Soccer supplies for him to continue believing in himself and to pursue that his life is valuable, his dreams matter, he can do it. I showed the receipt. I spent $212.12 or whatever it was. It cost me $539 to ship this to Nigeria. The man working the counter, oh my God, it was so funny. He was like, how much do you bet this thing is gonna cost? And I was like, I don't know, maybe like 200. I was thinking maybe 200 because I Googled it. Or I asked ChatGPT and he kind of laughed. And I was just like, oh no, this is gonna be more. He's like, it's gonna be more, isn't it? And he just kind of was quiet. He's like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, do you want a quote? Are you trying to ship this? I said, yeah, I'm shipping this. This is going. I believe in this person so much that I'm willing to ship this, right? How many times has an adult paid for something for their child? Being like, child, like, right? Every human has a child that they've had to bail out of some situation and spend a rather extravagant amount of money on. Be like, because they're learning. They're going through an oopsies and learning in life. My total was, he's like, the cheapest to get it to Nigeria is $538.76. And I was like, where was that decimal point? I'm getting another drink. Got a tangerine. We got a fruit theme going. Got passion fruit, now we're tangerines. Okay. Because guys, I just literally spent $539 shipping a package to someone that tried to scam me out of my own money because I want them to believe in themselves. I literally bought them physical supplies. I bought them soccer supplies, and I showed that in my last video. How crappy would that be if I was like, that's too expensive? It costs more than what's even in this package. Never mind. Like, fuck it. I'm just gonna send him some money. That's good enough. I'm not gonna actually do this. Right? It would have been so easy for me to take those supplies that I had, go back to Sports Authority or wherever I went, and refund it all, and just send him money. Be like, here, take this money, go do it. No! That's a terrible plot line. Because I want him to recognize that I believe in him. Right? World peace ain't easy. It's costing me $538.76. And so when the guy at the counter gave me that, and there's people all in line too, because every UPS store offers as an exchange for Amazon. Excuse me. And I love Amazon, right? We've already talked about how Amazon's the GOAT based on my homeless parable. And so I recognized I had an audience there. They could overhear this because they overheard this man state to me that this package is going to cost $538.76 to ship. Can you imagine standing at the UPS store when you're waiting to return your Amazon package and perhaps you're feeling perturbed that you even have to stand in line to ship this, like you're inconvenienced, and you overhear another customer be like, sending this box that weighs 6 pounds and 36 ounces, 6.36 ounces, 6 pounds and 36 ounces, it's gonna cost $538.76. And I was like, oh! I feel like I just won like the blackjack. I did like a slot machine in Las Vegas or whatever it is, and 777 rolled up, and I just got a cash out of $538. I was like, ooh, rain that money, right? Just in the opposite direction. It's not coming in, it's going out. Oh, anyways, so I made sure to enunciate and make sure people could hear this conversation. I was like, woo, $538 to send this. Yeah, you're right. That was expensive, but you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? I did say it was a gift. Tis the season of giving, right? Thanksgiving, people already have Christmas decorations out. It goes with the vibe. Okay, I'll do it. And I said, because I thought about it and I said, how many times, right? How many times someone that you love and care about, love and cherish and care about, that you truly love, that you would do the world for, how many times have they made an oopsies or needed help and you had to fork out some money? Okay. When I say that I love every human being and everything, the totality of existence equally, tell me my actions don't demonstrate it. Tell me, how many people would buy a scammer $212 worth of soccer gear to help them believe in themselves and pursue their dreams, and then pay $539 to ship it to them? Y'all. And I was complaining about this price of a Nike's water bottle being $16 or $17, whatever it was. Bro, to get that Nike water bottle to you cost me $539. I could have probably went on Amazon Prime and shipped it to you cheaper. And bought you more stuff. Because that's how phenomenal Amazon Prime's logistical infrastructure is. But I don't want to be disappointed. I don't think they've made it to that part of Nigeria yet. So I didn't do that. So I relied on UPS. So after I recovered from the excitement, because I'm going to make a video on this, right? Because again, how many people would actually pay $539 to ship that to someone? How many people would pivot and be like, too much, too much. I need that Monopoly money more than this, people. I care, but I don't care that much. Pass. We're going to do something different. It would have been cheaper for me to like Google, like donate him money. Like, be like, bro, sorry, I tried to make this a good story, a feel-good story for people to hear, but it got too expensive. And everyone would understand. If I came back here and said, y'all, I'm going to return this entire package because it was $539 to ship it. What kind of lunacy, like irrationality is that? Like, this is how hard it is to overcome misunderstanding and propagate a profound wave of peace across the globe. And to be quite frank, $539 is cheap. Who doesn't want world peace for $539? Thank you. I believe like every organization on the planet donates more money than that. And this story is better than all those. I'm just kidding. Those are good stories too. Those are good stories too. But this one's really good. So, here is my proof. And I will insert the in the comments the tracking number so anyone that wants to care to track along this adventure. Because who knows? Because the logistical infrastructure, what's occurring in Nigeria right now, right? Because they actually, he stopped going to school in the time we met because the country's in so much turmoil. People, they're boycotting, they're doing all sorts of things. And so there's no such thing as school anymore. University doesn't exist right now because their government is throwing some sort of fit and fighting. And so we'll see, because there's a high probability that this package gets what's it called? Taken by someone that reads it, right? Because you have to declare what's in it. Because the guy was like, do you have an itemized list of what's in it? And I said declared value, $200, but I didn't list everything that was in it. I only listed, because he had to type it in. He was getting tired of typing it. So he was like, is there anything else? So I stopped typing, or I stopped saying stuff. Shorts, 2 pairs. Soccer ball, one. Shin guard, 1. Bottle, a water bottle, 1. Cones, 1. And I actually, for the water bottle, I stuffed the socks in there and the Noon tablets because I needed more space in the box. So I tried to make space of that. But anyone that's at the border or anyone that sees this, right? They might be like, let's check what's inside this. Let's take it. Let's open it. Anyone at customs can do that. And if they see the stuff that's inside that thing, right? Because they're in a country that is rampant with corruption and people doing some shicey things. Okay? Try to get this out of the way. So, coincidentally, I think this is the branches of an olive tree, right? My ex-fiance gave me these little fake things, and I think that's supposed to mimic an olive branch. So it's funny that I was trying to move it out of the way of my video. Because I have no idea. There's high probability that this package doesn't make it to him. And at this point, right, because the package $212 was $539. Oh, and by the way, because after I threw like a wild whimsy at the counter being like, $538, I was laughing because I was like, I'm going to do it. I recognize how much it's going to cost, because in the back of my mind when that moment came, he was like, because he measured the box, and as he was doing the final measurement, because he inputted the address, I told him, I said, I've never shipped anything to Africa before. And he looked at me and he was like, this is going to Africa? I said, yeah, Nigeria. And he was like, and he started typing. Because this is the address. I have no idea what it even means. This is like foreign to me. I basically read hieroglyphics because it was so foreign to me. Number 37, Otunba, Adelkunle Street, Gas Line, Ijoka, Sanoga Ara, NG. Okay. First off, in foreign countries, they don't have the postal system like we do here. His address was number 37, Otunba, Adelkunle. And then it says ST, which I assume is street, but the thing that he sent me didn't say that. And then Gasline Ijoko. Ijoko. Y'all, look at that address. Tell me that address. And then even the guy working there was like, what's the zip code? And I was like, listen, man, there's no zip code. I got this address and it was just all written on 2 lines. And it had the word gas line, it had the number 37, and then it said Nigeria. I have no idea where this is, man. I was like, bro, I've never shipped anything to Africa, let alone Nigeria. I have no idea what zip code they utilize. They're not on the US system of postal service, okay? And so the guy was so phenomenal though. And so like he recognized, because when I told him, I was like, I've never shipped anything to Nigeria before or Africa. And he like looked up and he was just like, oh, this is gonna be pricey. Because I was actually shipping a box. And he's like, are you looking for a quote? Or are you looking, and I was like, I'm shipping this. He was like, okay. And so finally, before he entered everything in, and then he measured it. And he's like, how much does it weigh? And I said 6.36 ounces. And he measured it and he was like, how much do you think it's gonna cost? And I said, well, I looked it up, I'm thinking around 200. And he was like measuring. He was like, we'll see. And I was like, how much do you think it's gonna cost? And he was just quiet and he was measuring the box and he double checked his measurements. He didn't even look at me. I said, well, how much do you think it's gonna cost? And he was just like, and he went straight to his screen and continued typing. And I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be big. Because I think he saw kind of when I started doing this. And so when he told the price, he was like, it's $538.76. And I laughed. I was like, oh! And I was like, yeah, that is a pretty penny, isn't it? That's a good chunk of Monopoly money. And I said, well, it is a gift. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And he was just like, okay. And he's like, well, this other option, because he tried to make me feel better, because I was joking about it. And I was like, $538? I was like, did I set a record? Tell me, anytime another customer comes in here and complains about shipping something, make sure you let them know that you had a customer come in here and pay $538 to ship something one time. He was like giggling a little bit because he was recognizing, right? Because he was expecting me to like unleash a state of fury onto how ridiculous that price was. And I told him, I said, God, well, I was like, actually, when I first heard it, and I was just like, See, this is what I mean with money. It's monopoly money. Once it gets past a certain point, you're just like, whatever, right? The words millions and billions get thrown around and people don't perceive how much it actually takes. And so when I heard that, I was like, it's just monopoly money at this point. The inflation rates have gotten extraordinary. Look at the economy. Monopoly money. Look at countries that have actually undergone a severe collapse of their concept of money. How extraordinary it gets. People used to wheel wheelbarrows of money, filled with money, to buy a loaf of bread, because that's how insane and ludicrous the concept of money occurred in those countries. To ship a package within the US on the same planet, let's just put it this way, to ship a package costs $539. Tell me that doesn't remind you of playing a game of Monopoly or playing some figmented game of the imagination that doesn't actually exist. Tell me people that have undergone the financial system don't feel and exhibit a state of like, guys, this is ludicrous. Some of the houses around here, I love traveling. When I travel, I always love to look at how much a house costs in certain places. Like in Washington State, for instance, the shack that my best friend purchased with her and her husband and their child, actually not even her husband because he's too pussy to make her his wife, to receive that label. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I apologize for my language. He doesn't want to propose to her because, again, he's still struggling with his own sense of self-worth. He doesn't want to be responsible for another life when he feels like he can't even handle his own life. But they bought like a shack for like $500,000. It's an extraordinary shack. They've done a miraculous thing with it. Let me tell you, like gentrification and renovating these small areas, extraordinary. You go to Boston, you get like the size of a living room, the size of a car, the square footage in a car. You're paying over $1 million for it. Tell me the world isn't in a state of like Monopoly, like literally playing the game of Monopoly. Things have gotten so ludicrous and insane about how expensive they've become that people start to behave irrationally. When they don't recognize, when people derive their sense of worth on monetary value, when they equate their life's meaning and success to, I don't know what I'm doing, to monetary things, this is what occurs. And so I'm trying to demonstrate to people that your worth isn't defined to these numbers, this currency. Yes, I value money. Again, I was able to ship this package to a complete stranger that I've never actually physically met in person for $539. I was willing to do that because I want to demonstrate to others the concept of love. Because love knows no boundaries of time nor space. The movie that comes from Interstellar, right? People are unfamiliar. Kip Thorne, who won a Nobel Prize for physics or science or whatever label they gave him, discovered gravitational waves, because before that no one realized that literally like gravity propagates like waves, or they needed proof of it. I will not go over that, even though the concept of the wave particle duality was discovered centuries prior. For someone else to demonstrate the same pattern of movement exhibited at the quantum level exists, shockingly, at the cosmic level, won a Nobel Prize. Do you see how irrational that pattern of thought and how humanity has gotten? Science discovered the concept of everything existing as a wave centuries, decades ago. Fast forward to present day, and they awarded someone else for discovering the concept of a wave at a different scale. Okay. movement patterns that originate at the origin, which is called quantum, based on science definition. Why would they demonstrate a different pattern of movement at any scale beyond it? So it should make sense that gravitational waves exist, because you guys already discovered centuries ago that energy exists as a wave. So it shouldn't be shocking to find the concept of a wave existing on a cosmic and universal scale, to include gravity. I wonder what else that's hinting at. Anyways, I digress. Love transcends space and time. Some famous line from that movie that Kit Thorne helped write. Interstellar, everyone loves Interstellar. Chris Nolan directed it. He directed other fun, whimsical movies like Inception. I won't even get you started on the layers of Inception, because I started talking about all those layers when we were about to fly, coincidentally. Me and my Keegan, my ex-fiance, we were about to go on a vacation together to Vegas. Earlier this year. And ex-fiance, again, we were going to a vacation to Vegas after it was her idea, after we broke up last February. Okay, last February we broke up from being engaged. Fast forward to like this March, or it might have been May, that she suggested that we go to Vegas together. And I was like, let's go, I love an adventure. Okay, while we were on that plane ride, we were picking a movie to watch together. And she picked Inception. I said, I will watch whatever you want. And we were going through the previews, and I was saying things about what those movies embody. So, oh, I love that movie because it did blah, blah, blah. Oh, that blah, 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 blah. And I was going past the surface layer. And so she, for some reason, picked Inception. And she probably thought there's no way she can go past a layer on Inception, because Inception has so many layers. It's so good. Bro, we didn't make it more than 10-15 minutes into that movie because of all the commentary and things I was pointing out to her. She got so scared that she was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. And we picked another movie. Okay. Because even Inception is 10% tip of the iceberg of what is possible with the human capacity for thought. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh my God, I've rambled for 52 minutes. Anyways, that is why I paid $539 to ship my box to a scammer filled with soccer things. And I showed the video of what was in the box, y'all. Nothing in that box was necessary for survival or even can help with life skills based on everyone's current perception. However, I chose to round up, actually, because by this point, I mean, he even told me, actually, okay, I'll go back. He told me, the guy at the counter, right, because he was trying to make me feel better, because he recognized that I was going to do this. Because I said, well, this is a gift. This is the season of giving, right? It's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. If there's no other way to demonstrate how important and miraculous those words in this time of year is, then what else is this? Okay? And again, mind you, everyone in line is overhearing this by this point, because when's the last time anyone ever heard a package costing $538.76 to ship? I made sure people were aware about how awesome and inspirational this is. Because I said, well, let's do it. I'll pay that. I'll pay $538.76 to spread some holiday good cheer, right? It's November. Isn't Thanksgiving coming up? What is Thanksgiving about if not a season of thanks and giving? Y'all named it Thanksgiving. And then coincidentally, the month after is Christmas. What can we do to invoke a sense of hope and belief and inspiration if not to utilize this time of the year? Okay. I did not name Thanksgiving a reason to give thanks. And then when it came up being like, and he was laughing at this point because he recognized, like, yo, you're fucking wild and I fucking love it. He's like, hey, do you want to donate? Do you want to round up? Because on the screen, it came up being like, do you want to round up to donate to the junior achievement? And I said, ugh, why not? At this point, I've already, like, it's frivolous. I can round up a couple cents. So my total is $539. And also I love even numbers, or like I love clean cut numbers. And having a decimal point can be viewed as a state of irrationality. However, rationality is where innovation occurs and discovery occurs. And coincidentally, it's defined as a 0, 0. So 0, 0 in computer programming, it's like 0 is a state of undefined. Undefined is where superposition exists and anything can be possible. Do we see what I'm trying to do here, y'all? World peace can be accomplished with a single package that cost me $539 to ship. And I chose to do it. Because again, I want to achieve and I want to physically experience my goal, my dream of my life of seeing, perceiving, living, being immersed in a world where there literally is world peace. Where every human across this entire planet, this blue marble hurtling through space, to demonstrate that everything is extraordinary, every human life. Everyone deserves a seat at the table. I paid $539 just to ship this person $212 worth of encouragement to make them recognize that they are extraordinary. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I do things like this on a daily basis. Oh. Everyone is so thirsty for help and support and solace. Okay. I value my Monopoly money. I utilize my Monopoly money. Let me go into this, right? Okay, again, this shows it. Because people probably think, oh, she just has a shit ton of money. She can just do whatever she wants with it. No, I don't have a shit ton of money. I don't. I saved a lot of money to publish my personal diaries in order to spread and propagate a profound wave of understanding across the totality of 8.1 billion human beings in order to see and perceive and experience my dream of global peace. Unfortunately, everyone continues to demonstrate they don't desire to leave a state of violence and chaos. So I suppose I will just keep spending my Monopoly money, this concept that humans have created, in order to try to invoke a state of world peace, to demonstrate. If I'm going to spend my money on something, I'm going to spend it on trying to propagate a state of peace that this entire planet can enjoy existence to the depths that it deserves and has earned. Or I can spend my money watching it burn to the ground, watching humanity continue to destroy itself. Let me just pull up what social media is on social media. What people are advertising. I love CNN. It's my, whatever. News page for a reason, because humanity again loves violence and chaos. Trump floats $2,000 tariff rebate checks. What you need to know. Again, everyone loves money. Money is a good marketing campaign. When people perceive dollar signs, they feed into it. They go to it like glue. They're addicts. They see it as a lifeline, right? I'm trying to demonstrate to this human being across the planet that his life is more valuable than this concept of money and what he defines that he is worth and valued at. I have extraordinary capacity and capability to earn Monopoly money. I think it's very obvious in my videos. I refuse to take offers that I have been given. Y'all, I worked 3 to 5 days a month after I retired from the military. After the military gave me the label of bipolar, and I said, are you sure you want to give me this? Because that means that you're going to be paying me for the rest of my life. You're gonna give me money. You're gonna give me a free handout based on what you decided to label me as. Are you sure you want to do that? Because I enjoy working towards, earning my money, earning my Monopoly money. And they said to me, no. You have put forth enough effort. You have never gotten below 100 on your physical fitness scores. We are going to give you this label because we recognize and acknowledge that you have earned the capacity to receive this stable foundation so you can spread love and peace across the totality of humanity. If that means that we have to give you some money and give you this label, then so be it, because we can't even refute our own policies. So we're gonna give you this label because we're aware that you can do more with it beyond what we were capable of doing. And I said, okay, thank you. So now I get a disability check based on my incapacity and inability to function because I'm bipolar. Even though I was going for schizophrenia, y'all. Schizophrenia is a much more fun label. But when they offered me the label of bipolar, I said, okay, I'll take it. Because again, it allowed me to have Monopoly money so I can do what I'm doing now to reach my full potential of propagating a wave of peace and understanding so profound across this entire planet that violence and chaos no longer become daily life. I'm sure everyone's tired of watching children kill other children in schools. Is everyone else tired of watching bloodshed occur in churches and hospitals? Y'all, even like Grey's Anatomy. Everyone loves Grey's Anatomy. That show even invoked a state of violence and chaos by having a mass shooter come in and shoot up the hospital, and some of our favorite characters got killed off. Is everyone tired of being inspired by watching bloodshed? Because if they are, then I'm here for it. I'm trying. Oh, I love this. Warren Buffett says, I'm going quiet. I see hands off Berkshire Hathaway leadership. Warren Buffett is even tired of monopoly money. Let me read this article. That's fun. Oh, it was a 3-minute read. It was just updated an hour 29 ago. Let me show you guys. Warren Buffett, I'm going quiet. What age is he at? Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett released his final letters to shareholders on Monday. This man, Warren Buffett, everyone knows the name Warren Buffett. Literally, his last name is spelt the same way as being able to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Right? It's spelt the same way, it's just pronounced differently. This man had so much money that he had no idea what to do with it. Said that he will be going quiet after he steps down at the end of this year. He's 95 and he's finally stepping away from this empire that he has built that equivalents his life value and worth to money. It took him 95 years of existence to finally be like, I feel empty inside. Look at what I've accomplished. I'm surrounded. The world is at my fingertips. The literal world is at my fingertips. My name has become a how, like, I can go anywhere on this entire planet and everyone would recognize my name. I am Warren Buffett. Berkshire Hathaway, everyone in the financial industry is aware of that name. He stepped down. And why did he say in his final message that he will be going quiet? Why, after all these years, this man who has done extraordinary things chooses to state, I will be going quiet? Tell me you've seen another or perceived another human on this planet that has the world. The world is his oyster. To Steve Jobs, the world was his oyster. To Bill Gates, the world is his oyster. To Elon Musk, the world is his oyster. To Donald Trump, the world is their oyster. To Pope whoever, the world is their oyster. Papa Pope. These people that everyone looks up to, that sees as a source of inspiration, guidance, leadership, a source of refuge and solace and comfort. After 95 years, he chose as his last letter to state that he will be going quiet. Oh, this is fun. They even say the Oracle of Omaha. The Oracle of Omaha. That's what CNN labeled him as. That's what this news article labeled him as. The Oracle of Omaha. Ohama. Guys, I guess I'm thinking about Ohana, which Ohana means family. Moana. Omaha, Moana, Ohana. Okay. I'm going to pause this here because I like this Warren Buffett story. We're going to tell a Warren Buffett parable. Oh! Even my phone is like, don't do that. People are going to like crumble. Oh, is this the time it's going to happen? Yes, it is. I'm going to refill my drink. We're going to tell drunk history. We're going to tell drunk cognition. And this is why I stated, right? When I was hanging out with the homeless and that drug dealer offered me meth and drugs and whatever else he had in his backpack, I said, no, thank you. When I consume other substances other than natural drugs that occur, such as water and oxygen, I achieve a heightened state of clarity and mental cognition. So no, thank you. At this time, in this point in time, I don't desire to partake in what you define as meth. It confused him. So I'm going to end this here, and we're going to go into the Buffett parable. The buffet. Peace.